Hey everyone. So we are back about a week ago that we started dismantling, taking out all the plants from this back bed back here. It got busy on us. We had other things we needed to do. Kids went back to school, so we had to do that. It got a little crazy. But also around that time, the temperatures were very, very hot. Now a week later, here in Virginia, we're back to those beautiful Virginia temperatures that we're used to. It's kind of a rainy day right now, and it's nice and fresh out here. We're like feeling, what, 70s, 80s?
About.
Maybe. It just feels beautiful. But either way, I wanted to show you that it is possible to go ahead. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, and that's why we want to show you guys, if y'all ever need to transplant plants around, you know, summer, that it can be done, but they do need to be watered and taken care of. They need a little bit more love. So here they are. You know, we have a Brunera here. It's doing great. We have the hostas. We have your favorite fern over here. We have the other ferns over there and another hosta. As y'all can see, the rest of the other plants that we're going to continue taking out are still there. But very important thing for these plants to continue looking good and we don't lose them at all, when it's hot in summer, is to give them biotone when you transplant them, you know, and go ahead and keep them watered. Come in and check them. They're in smaller containers. When it gets hot, they're going to dry out fast. So this is what I do. Every morning I come out here, I give them their good soak. I love to use this one from Dram, the sprayer, and it has this soaker so I don't disturb their roots because they're very, you know, they just got planted in. So it just soaks them really, really nice. And give them a little spray right there, soaker. Oh, that's what we wanted to show you, that they're doing great, and we're gonna go ahead and continue. I know that we left off on the other one to be continued when we first started. It was just getting too long, and I wanted to go ahead and explain. We wanted to explain how to bring out these limetas out of here, these hydrangeas. Okay, so I guess we're gonna get going.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, today's focus, like Angie said, is getting those limetas out. We have an elderberry back there, so it needs to come out. And this retainer wall right here, we're getting rid of this block.
Yes, finally.
And then hopefully we can move on to some of the plants that are in here.
Yeah, we have some of the hostas down here.
But
so yeah,
that's the goal for today, so let's get started. All right, so before I get started taking these plants out right here, Angie is helping me out by putting some soil in the containers that we're going to transplant these plants into. And we are using the Espoma organic potting mix and the biotone as well, because that's what's going to help with the transplanting. It's going to keep these plants from going into shock. It's going to help them establish roots because we've pruned these back quite a bit. But as Angie came out here and noticed, these guys don't care. They started putting on more growth. These limetas, like, I don't know what's wrong with them. It's got to be the biotone. They just started to sprout out of nowhere. So it looks like it looks like they could put on another flush. Hopefully not. Well, that's not what we're expecting them to do. But first thing I'm going to do is take out this elderberry. That way I can transfer this over to Angie and she can get it in a container. All right, so I've already got the elderberry out. I got one limeta out, and I'm starting to work my way to these limeta hydrangeas that are here. And one thing I wanted to talk about was because we always get questions about propagating hydrangeas. Hydrangeas are one of the easiest plants to propagate. You can literally lay a branch on its side, and as long as it's touching that soil and there's enough humidity and water, it's going to start to set roots. And I'm going to show you an example right here because we have pretty much a whole hydrangea right here that produced from this one right here, where some of the shoots were laying on its side and it started to produce. And actually I'm going to rip this one out because I'm probably not going to use this one, but you can see this is a branch that was laying on its side, and as it laid on its side, all these roots started to grow into the ground, and this is the result of that. Unfortunately I broke it because I was digging this stuff out. But you can see how easily it propagates itself into the ground. Now, macrophylla hydrangeas and the smooth hydrangeas are one of the easiest ones because they're just very soft, and when they lay down like that, they're just gonna start putting roots all over the place. Same thing goes for panicle hydrangeas. They're gonna produce not as fast because they're not that soft. It's still a softwood hydrangea, but these are going to be the fastest ones, smooth hydrangeas and macrophylla hydrangeas. But there you go, easy to propagate. And also, before I forget, Angie loves to have cut flowers as well. So whenever she cuts some of these hydrangeas and puts some of these blooms in waters, they're liable to put some roots on fairly quick, and they start to even bud up some leaves sometimes. So that's how easy it is to propagate these hydrangeas. Let me take out the rest of these two guys, and then we can move on with the rest of the bed. All right, so not an easy task at all. Even though these hydrangeas are shallow rooted, they love to grow horizontally. So I had to do quite a bit of root pruning to them as I pull them out of the ground. But as we've shown before, transplanting with Biotone and the product that we use, they're absolutely gonna do great, and they should take fairly well. So next, Angie's gonna show you how she does that transplanting and putting them into new containers.
So the containers have been filled with the Espoma organic potting soil, and I've already placed some of the Biotone starter in there, which is Biotone starter is fertilizer to start their roots, to help them out as they're getting newly planted. So this right here is Invisible Limetta. This is an arborescens hydrangea, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here, planted already. And I wanted to let you know, in case you just joined us in the chat on our channel, you're new to our channel, and you're wondering, why are these people planting in the middle of the heat in summer? Why are they planting in summer, transplanting, taking things out of their garden at this time of summer? It's hot. Well, we're doing it because we're doing a move. And we live on a military base, so we can't leave anything like this. We have to leave the indoors and the outdoors as when we first arrive as is. So I know, bummer, I wish we could leave this for somebody else, but we can't. It has to stay to how it was originally when we first started here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting all the other two in here, and I guess I'll find me some other pots for the other two that Ambrose they propagated on their own on this side. Look at that. That's a lot of root. So I'm just gonna sit them in there. Their roots are big. This is temporary, so when we arrive wherever we move to next, I'll go ahead and, they either go in the ground or they get placed in bigger containers. Oh my, this one actually has another one on the side. See if we can fit it in there with it. If not, I guess I'll take it off and plant it with the other. So this one has an extra hydrangea that's growing from there. I'm gonna cut that one off, so that way it fits in the pot. But look at that root system. They just spread like crazy. I have some of the Espoma organic potting soil in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover them up. So you want to make sure when you're planting them that you're covering all their roots and that the hydrangea is not loose at all. So pack it really good. I like to just push down on the soil around it. Make sure that root ball is nice and it's sitting there sturdy. I like to tap the container a little bit. Let's make sure that you don't have any roots on top showing. And later when you're done, you can go ahead after you water it, let it settle a little bit. And as it settles, you'll see that it probably need a little, like maybe an inch more of soil. And then go ahead and put some mulch on top, because that will help tremendously so it can stay, it won't dry out on you that quick, the potting soil. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and put some soil on the elderberry. Talk a little bit about it before we move on. I think I have, just 2 more plants to bring out of here. Okay. So the elderberry. This is black lace elderberry. And yes, it's in a very small nursery container. Probably almost what it came in when we first bought it. So I'm covering it up really well from the top. It already has biotone, the same as the Limetta hydrangeas. It is very small. But like I said, this is a transplanting because we're moving, and when we get to the new home around fall time, we'll go ahead and put it in a bigger container, or it'll go ahead and go in the ground, which I hope it'll be the ground, but we'll see. So I just want to go ahead and make sure that it's nicely covered. Make sure that it's not loose. Same thing. Go in and with your hands all around it and make sure to sit that root ball really well in. So one thing that I wanted to explain too, if you're transplanting like us because you're going to move, make sure that you do it within, you transplant the plants about 3 weeks before your move. That'll give the plants to at least get used to being in the new place they're planted and in the pots until you know, we're putting them in, we're gonna take them out of here in a moving truck. So yeah, that's gonna be fun too. But that way they don't, you know, they're going through a lot right now. They're gonna go through a lot trying to set their roots down again. And at least those 3 weeks, they'll feel a little better being left alone. And like always, go ahead and water them. Give them their nice soak. All of them. And I'll do that right after we finish with the video. Now we're gonna continue and just take those other 2 little plants out of this bed, and I guess that's it, right? Just pull everything down.
All right, so we got 2 more little plants to take out of here, and this one is, what'd you say it was?
That is Primo Mahogany.
Yep.
I think it's called Primo Mahogany.
That's right.
Heuchera.
Mahogany Monster.
Mahogany Monster, and that's like my favorite Heuchera right there because of those beautiful red kind of pink tones.
Now,
so pretty.
One thing we are going to do, because I am noticing it on these plants, before we actually travel, right now I'm not ready to worry about it, but before we actually travel, we want to go ahead and treat these with some organic insecticide and maybe spray them down with some water real quick, because I'm seeing some caterpillars and, you know, little spiders here and there. We just don't want hitchhikers in a moving truck to hitch all over the other plants as well. Look at that caterpillar hanging out right there.
Where? Spray it down.
Oh, there's a spider on the underside too. Okay, what else did you want me to get?
Okay,
this one right here?
that right there is a tiny one. That right there is a very tiny piece of creeping Jenny, a favorite plant.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here. Let me just fill this up and I'll put it in here. Creeping Jenny comes back every year here for us.
Very light roots there.
Yes, in zone 7 for us it comes back, so I love it. So I had to take out the Heuchera because I still don't have any biotone in there. We need that biotone. Oh, things are falling already. Little piece of the creeping Jenny. And what are you over there digging out?
This is one of your favorites.
Everything's my favorite.
Pink diamonds, bleeding heart.
Yes. So that is a summer blooming from spring all the way till in the beginning of fall here where we live in zone 7B. That's flowers all through the growing season. It's a bleeding heart. That's a bleeding heart. Can y'all believe that? It keeps on blooming. Yep,
fern leaf bleeding heart. Awesome plant. Angie loves it.
Oh, I love it. But it didn't grow that well for us here because it actually needs more sun. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
A bleeding heart that needs more sun. You know, the ones that we know of are the ones that love the shade, right? And only bloom like in the beginning of around spring.
Yes.
And this one you have it just blooming through the whole season, and it actually likes more sun. So yeah, we had it here in the north area, and it really didn't do much. So I'm excited to take it somewhere and plant it where it's gonna have more sun.
It's very weird to see this bed without plants now that we got everything out of here completely.
Yeah, It does feel weird. It's a bittersweet thing, but at the same, I don't know. It's good to know we're gonna move on and that we're gonna have somewhere else to be able to plant, hopefully in a more space, more room,
definitely,
sun, hopefully.
Yep. So, all right, Angie's gonna take care of that, get those transplanted. Next thing we're gonna do is probably hit up these plants on the bottom, and we gotta take out this retainer wall.
Cry, or do you just want to?
Oh, I'm not gonna cry. Are you gonna cry?
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like sad to see it done for.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So it's just literally just bring out the brakes already and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah. We're kind of like, I guess in these videos you're going to see us going through the motions.
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
we'll go ahead and do a video after all this where we're like actually like calm and we thought about it, and then we'll probably in the morning do a little
so
how we feel about it.
Yeah, so this is definitely a lot of work. Angie did the limetas, transplanted those, and we got all the plants that were down here as well transplanted, and using that good old biotone starter.
Yeah. So definitely we you know, as we're digging through everything, we notice, you know, how well the soil is now, how good it is compared to when we arrived here. So whoever gets this place, and if they're into gardening, they're so lucky because the soil is...
Yeah, I mean, assuming that they're going to use any of this back here to garden with. But the soil back here, we actually use, I used the Spoma garden bed soil, which I filled when I did the retaining wall. And you can see the retaining wall is gone now.
And this is why Ambrose's first thought was when we arrived here to put a retaining wall.
So the hill you actually see here this is the hill that was here. It actually went down a little bit. Obviously, a lot of it drained out, a lot of it eroded. But this is basically what it was when we got here. A lot more roots protruding from the maple tree. But it's nice and smooth now. The soil's great. I'm just going to go around and prune up any of protruding roots that are sticking up.
When we arrived here, it was a bunch of straw. There was no grass. Yeah. Nothing here.
We had pine needles and straw
and a bunch of mud.
Yeah, a bunch of mud.
A bunch of mud and water.
But yeah, this soil, digging into this soil, really cakey and great for...
You said you're going to get the tiller.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the tiller, smooth this out a little bit. Like I said, this is... I wish I could make it look better, but this is exactly what we had when we got here. Obviously, I'm going to make it look somewhat more decent, not, you know, better than what it was, but this is what we had, and I'm just going to get a tiller, maybe a pitchfork, and break it up a little bit, make sure it's nice and smooth.
And as you guys start to see us, you know, do the rest of the garden, you'll start to see everything just evening, you know, getting the ground or the soil will even out, and we'll start taking out the rest of the... We took all the plants from down there.
Yeah.
And now we just have a few stepping stones. We're leaving those, I'm assuming right now.
Yeah, stepping stones are going to stay until we start clearing. Like I said, we still have a lot more garden to do.
It rains a lot here. We need the stepping stones.
But for now, we're gonna leave them here just in case it rains, like Andrew said.
So I'm trying to right now. If there's anything that I missed out on talking to you, because I know I didn't get to get into detail with any of the other plants. It was the same plants we took out.
Yeah.
The only difference was that some of the hostas are in baskets.
Yep.
And those guys were planted in there just because we didn't know if they were going to be able to handle the how wet it was in this area,
Yep.
which they did amazing.
Yeah,
They are ready to be planted somewhere else without a basket and just thrive.
The baskets were basically an escape route to pull them out as quickly as possible, just in case, you know.
Because we knew we were only going to do this for what, three years.
Yeah.
So
and they worked out great. You know, they did absolutely great. The soil has been heavily amended with a lot of mulch throughout the years.
A lot of mulch. So I guess next is we'll just go ahead and we're going to continue, of course, these couple of days. You'll be seeing more videos of this. And we'll be sitting down, gathering our thoughts and talking to you guys.
Yeah.
On those videos, you know, on this video and the last one, we'll be taking all your comments, questions, answering them. If you have any questions or anything that we are doing right now, we can answer for you on those videos.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I mean, it's going to be a lot of this for the next couple of videos, tearing down the garden and talking about what we're doing to, you know, prepare them for the next house or whatever the case is.
So again, I want to repeat, this is not the time to be transplanting. No. Best time to transplant plants, it's in spring.
Yes.
Or in fall, which fall is coming pretty soon. But we are about to move in a few weeks.
Yes.
3 weeks ahead is the latest you can do to bring out a plant.
Yeah.
I like to repeat that all the time, so that way at least the plant has some time to settle down in its new container, you know, before you take off. And if you're taking it with you on a move.
But if you must, definitely use great products, because that's what's going to help. It's going to help your plant survive. Like I said, we did the other hostas and the ferns, and they're absolutely doing great with those products.
Biotone, that root starter, that Biotone root starter from Espoma Organics, guys. I'm telling you, it's gold. That's what we use, and we've been using it for years. We've done moves before, and everything we've done it with Espoma Organics products. We 100%, guys, always advise it. We just can't be without it in our garden. Because it's what actually makes our garden thrive and go through all the moves and the changes the poor plants have to go through, the stress. Like, you know, we just showed y'all. They're doing amazing after we planted. Around that time, it was 90-degree weather, and they did great. So,
and don't forget, water. That's one thing you need to do when you transplant these plants. All right, so that's pretty much going to be it. Stay tuned to the next video where we start tearing down more of the garden, have a lot more fun out here in the, you know, the humid environment. Just kidding. It's about, what, 70 today?
It's beautiful right now, honestly. Yeah.
So that's going to do it, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.